श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र की जय हो। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Good evening, everybody. Today I am going to present on the practice and perfection of Vanaprastha life. This presentation will be based on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4 and Text 23. Let me walk you through the agenda. So the agenda for this presentation will be on the introduction part of the practice and perfection of Vanaprastha, visual presence of Vanaprastha in our society, dharma of a Vanaprastha, benefits of the Vanaprastha ashram, feasibility and mentality behind adopting the Vanaprastha dharma, considerations for practical application, overall theme, formal methods for transitioning into the Vanaprastha ashrama, then specific Vanaprastha behaviors and practices for progress in spiritual life leading to Vanaprastha, and finally, Varnashram culture as given by Srila Prabhupada. So let me walk you through the introduction. So, what is meant by Vanaprastha? So, the word Vanaprastha is composed of the words Vana meaning forest and Prastha meaning to go. So a Vanaprastha is one has gone to the forest. Vanaprastha is an ashram in the Vedic Varnashram system. An ashram can be both a physical and mental place and refers to a place where one cultivates spiritual life, where culture of the spiritual is foremost. The Vanaprastha order is complete retirement from householder life, a time when one prepares oneself for going back to Godhead. It requires shedding one's material attachments to becoming free of the repetition of birth and death that is called samsara, where we are living at the moment. Every man and woman should be trained for this purpose. Srila Prabhupada wanted to establish Varnashram Dharma and specifically Daiva Varnashram Dharma in ISKCON to save human society from gliding down to hellish life. Vanaprastha is one of four ashramas in the Varnashram system. Srila Prabhupada wanted to establish Varnashram Dharma, also known as the Vedic civilization. If established, if established systematically, it will change the human mankind. He was confident that the Varnashram system would cleanse the hearts of everyone, allowing all to receive and understand spiritual knowledge. That is, the Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas, Brahmacharis, and Sannyasis should endeavor together with their total energy to become Krishna conscious. This type of civilization is called Deva Varnashram. One of the objectives of the Krishna consciousness movement is to establish this Deva Varnashram Dharma society. This was the second half of Srila Prabhupada's mission. The Krishna conscious movement, however, is being propagated all over the world to re-establish the Varnashram Dharma system and thus save human society from gliding down to hellish life. This statement is taken from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Text 19, Shloka 19, purport. So, in continuation, without cleansing the heart, it is very difficult to understand and receive the spiritual knowledge. All these reformatory measures, that is brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, they are simply the cleansing method in our lives. And bhakti is also a cleansing method, vidhi bhakti. This was given by Sri Prabhupada in a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Text 1, Shloka 34 to 39 in Surat city, dated December 19, 1970. So, Deva Varnashram is defined as strictly following the principles of the Vedas and particularly becoming Krishna conscious. The Grihasthas, Brahmacharis, and Sannyasis should endeavor together with their total energy to become Krishna conscious. This type of civilization is called Daiva Varnashram. This is taken from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Text 14, and Shloka 10, purport. If we want to establish Vedic civilization, then we must follow strictly the principles of Vedas as it is described in the Bhagavad Gita, and if it is practiced, then it is Daiva Varnashram Dharma. Ashrama Dharma is a gradual process on the path of self realization. The main purpose of Ashrama Dharma is to awaken the knowledge and detachment. Varnashram Dharma trains one to completely retire from worldly life in his or her remaining days of life and prepares one for going back to Godhead. The system of Varnashram Dharma prepares a man for going back to Godhead, and thus a householder is ordered to go to the forest as as Vanaprastha to acquire complete knowledge and then to take sannyas prior to his inevitable death. So this is taken from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Text 19 and Shloka 14, purport. One should prepare for the remaining days of one's life for the spiritual culture that is called Vanaprastha. So Vanaprastha means a retired life and training for completely renouncing this worldly life. The system of the Sanatan Dharma institution is so made that the follower is trained for the better next life without any chance that the human life will be spoiled. The holy places all over the world are meant for the residential purposes of retired persons getting ready for a better next life. According to Vedic civilization, one should get out of materialistic life by the age of 51. Doing so is compulsory as well as the householder's duty to take vanaprastha. Panchashodhavam vanam vrajit means one must climb out of the graham andhakupam, the that is called the blind well of the householder life. And vanam vrajit means to go to the forest. Vrajit means compulsory. The Vedic principle is that you remain in family life for some time, not for all the days. Panchashodhavam vanam vrajit. As soon as you are 50 years old, you must give up family life. It is compulsory. So this was given by Srila Prabhupada in a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Text 5, Text 25, Shloka 22 in Mumbai. November 22, 1974. So this is an authoritative statement of the Vedas. Going to the forest is compulsory for everyone. It is not a mental excursion upon which one person goes and another does not. Everyone should go to the forest, at least as a vanaprastha. Forest going means to take 100% shelter of the Supreme Lord, as explained by Prahlad Maharaj in his talks with his father. Therefore, it becomes all Grihastha's duty to take Varna Vanaprastha ashram because generally we are not able to stay fixed in transcendence and tend to fall into Maya. The duties in Varnashrama, even though temporary, are God given and serve to assist the conditioned soul to become unconditioned or centered on the soul if properly followed. The Vedas are the word of God. All devotees following the rules of Varna and Ashram should respect God's words as they are given in the Vedas. In both the Shruti and the Smritis, the Lord gives many prescribed duties in Varnashram system, especially for householders. Sri Prabhupada gave all his disciples Brahman Diksha. He wanted all Brahman men and women to accept Vanaprastha and then for the men take sannyas. I will suggest now, in your old age, when your sons are grown up and well situated, why not join this movement and retire from family life? According to our Vedic principle, a person, especially a Brahmana, should leave home after the 50th year and accept the order of Vanaprastha. The Brahmana, one who is qualified as a Brahmana, he has to observe the four ashramas: a Brahman, of the Brahmachari ashram, the Grihastha ashram, the Vanaprastha ashram, and Sannyas ashram. For a Brahmana, the four ashramas are compulsory. He must become a Brahmachari. Then from Brahmachari he becomes Grihastha, and from Grihastha ashram, the Vanaprastha ashram, and then Sannyas ashram, and he becomes a sannyasi. Srila Prabhupada compares taking Vanaprastha to civil suicide. My Guru Maharaj used to say, commit civil suicide. If you commit suicide, it is criminal. It is also suicide. No more connection with family. This is also suicide, but it is civil. There is no criminal action against, but it is also voluntarily committing suicide. No more connection with anyone. According to Sri Prabhupada, the main goal of Vanaprastha is to develop detachment from the material world. Actually, the practice of detachment should begin even while one is still situated in family life. Controlling the senses is a preparation for sannyas. The development of detachment should begin whilst living at home without sex and slowly moving to a more detailed situation by association, study, traveling, preaching, etc. Household life is for one who is attached, and the Vanaprastha and Sannyas orders of life are for those who are detached from material life. The Brahmachari ashram is especially meant for training from the attached and detached. It is a very good suggestion to open the Vanaprastha Institute. The elderly people can live there according to the Vaishnava principles and worship the deity and take prasadam. Attachment in householder life and the position of an attached householder. Sri Prabhupada condemned attachment in householder life and strongly recommended to get out of household life. He said one should not simply remain at home until the time of death, but should separate from family life at a timely moment and prepare himself to go back to Godhead. Prahlad Maharaj has advised that one give up this blind well of home life as soon as possible and go to the forest to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But people are so attached to their homes that even up to the point of death, they do not like to retire from home life. Lord Kapila gives graphic descriptions of an attached householder, and Srila Prabhupada comments on those verses. An attached family man maintains his family members very diligently, but when he becomes old and is unable to earn, he is treated like a dog by the same family members. Before meeting death, one is sure to become a deceased invalid and is put into so many miserable conditions. The Vedic literatures therefore enjoin that before the arrival of such miserable conditions, one should leave home and die without the knowledge of his family members. If a man leaves home and dies without his family's knowing, that is considered to be a glorious death. Hence, Sri Prabhupada's recommendations and encouragement to devotees in ISKCON as well as non-devotees, everyone can benefit from this Vedic system of Vanaprastha. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we therefore invite all of the elderly persons of the world to come to Vrindavan and stay there in retired life, making advancement in spiritual consciousness, that is Krishna consciousness. We do not have a center in Haridwar, but Vrindavan and Sri Dhama, Mayapur are better for devotees than any other places. The Chaitanya Chandrodaya temple offers one a good opportunity to associate with devotees. Let us all take advantage of this opportunity. In the following letters to Dr. Naik and Srinivasan, Shri Prabhupada suggests that one take Vanaprastha and to go to ISKCON centers in either Vrindavan, Mayapur, or Bombay to perform the devotional service. He says, I would suggest humbly that since you are already retired from service and your sons are well situated, that you may retire from your family life and live in Vrindavan in the Vanaprastha order. I hope you will try to understand my point of view and join this movement to make it more appreciable by the people in general all over the world. Therefore, according to Varnashram Dharma, you should spend the rest of your life simply engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. The best thing is for you to either go to Vrindavan Center or our Mayapur Center or our Bombay Center and live there for the rest of your life, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, feeling the bliss of being fully engaged in the service of Shri Krishna. Then, when it comes time to leave your body at the end of life, you will go to Krishna. Consequences of sense gratification. Sri Prabhupada mentions many times that one should try to reduce sense gratification, which creates envy, destroys our spirit of devotional desire, and causes us to minimize our awareness of the need to reach Krishna consciousness. By indulging in material sense gratification, we become miserable and our remembrance of Krishna is covered over. Sri Prabhupada was concerned for his young household of disciples. Sri Prabhupada always thought of the spiritual welfare of his young married disciples who were sincerely engaged in the Supreme Lord's service. He specifically instructed them to eventually disconnect from family life and take Vanaprastha. It is not that a Grihastha should live at home until he dies. Vanaprastha is preliminary to sannyas. In the Krishna consciousness movement, there are many young couples engaged in the Lord's service. Eventually, they are supposed to take Vanaprastha, and after the Vanaprastha stage, the husband may take sannyas in order to preach. The wife then remain alone and serve the deity or engage in other activities within the Krishna consciousness movement. Srila Prabhupada propagated the idea that systematically planned separation is better than forced separation. He argued that if one will be separated from his or her family in one way or another, why not separate willingly? Being disgusted with family life, one separates from the family by divorce or some other means. If one has to separate, why not separate willingly? Systematic separation is better than forced separation. When talking about the traditional Vanaprastha system and its present day challenges, the traditional Vanaprastha system is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, and the traditional behavior of a Vanaprastha is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 11, as well as in several other places in Srimad Bhagavatam. However, it is not feasible to follow these injunctions exactly as they are laid out of today. Rather, we should follow Sri Prabhupada's advice, which are given according to time, place, and circumstance. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that those who are not transcendental to the three modes, including those who are in the Vanaprastha ashram, must go through all the ashramas. The goal of moving through the Grihastha ashram is to develop gradual detachment from householder life and to later adopt the detached ashrama of Vanaprastha. Sri Prabhupada was very much concerned for the welfare of his society and often appealed to his followers to gradually become detached from family life. He said that there is no misery greater than material attachment, and there is no happiness as fine as detachment. One should be very much ashamed of remaining a householder and not promoting oneself to the two higher stages, namely Vanaprastha and Sannyas. One should not, however, become self complacent simply by leaving home or by creating another home at the holy place, either lawfully or unlawfully. His Holiness Jaya Advait Swami, he was interested in making Vanaprastha ashram visible with official ceremony. During the ceremony of Vana Pravesh for he and his wife, he made the comments. In any case, one should wind down material life until nothing is left so that one will have to totally depend on the Supreme Lord's mercy. Life is the preparation and death is the final examination. Srila Prabhupada himself took Vanaprastha. He said he, he himself passed his life as a householder until 1950 when he retired from family life as a Vanaprastha. At that time, he was preaching and writing for 8 or 9 years as Vanaprastha. The Grihastha's duty is to maintain the other three classes of people who strive only for advancement in spiritual life and to perform austerity. According to Srila Prabhupada, the other three classes of people who strive only for advancement in spiritual life and to perform austerity. The sannyasis, the Brahma Vanaprasthas, and the brahmacharis, they don't have to do anything but strive for spiritual advancement in spiritual life. This means that three-fourths of the entire population should stop sense gratification. Only the grihasthas are allowed to earn money, but the brahmachari and the vanaprastha and sannyasis they live at the cost of the grihasthas. That means it is the duty of the grihasthas or the householders to maintain the other three sections of the people in spiritual life, whether one is a grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, or brahmachari. Everyone is under the control of the spiritual master. The charity will be accepted by the brahmachari and sannyas, not the vanaprastha. In the vanaprastha stage of life, tapasya or austerity is strongly recommended. Without it, no human being can achieve liberation. The duty of those in the vanaprastha ashram is to undergo austerity. Austerity, study of Vedic literature, and philosophical research are meant for the vanaprasthas or retired persons. Brahmachari should offer yajna, grahastha should give in charity, and sannyasi, vanaprastha should undergo tapasya. Yajna, dana, tapaha, karma. We should not give up these things. Human life is meant for tapasya, austerity, and penance. By tapasya, one can get out of the material clutches. Tapasya means voluntarily accepting some inconveniences. So let us now look at the qualifications for entering Vanaprastha. The main qualifications for entering Vanaprastha for men are one must be sufficiently mature physically, mentally, and spiritually. Detachment from material life and dependence on Krishna are required. Vanaprastha is not a change of dress or a title, but a change of mentality. One's senses should be sufficiently under control. There should be a willingness and ability to cut attachment to family and home. One should be determined not to engage in loose association womanizing idle talk, and any form of unnecessary sense gratification. Association with one's wife, if done at all, should be restricted, and in order to gain her help in serving the Lord, one who is not married, a sannyasi, brahmachari, or vanaprastha, should rigidly avoid anything related to sex and, of course, should never see any living entity, whether bird, insect, or human being, engaged in the various phases of sexual intercourse. Vanaprastha should have good sadhana and a favorable devotional attitude. They have a responsibility as society's elders to help care for their juniors. Our recommendation and humble request to Srila Prabhupada's followers is that they take his instructions regarding Vanaprastha seriously. As mentioned above, Srila Prabhupada was very much concerned for his disciples. Many of the devotee couples who were young during Srila Prabhupada's time have been steadily practicing Krishna consciousness in the Grihastha ashram for years. Now, those devotees are in their 50s and 60s. It's time for them to come forward and they could preach and help and take Sri Prabhupada's instructions on Vanaprastha to heart. This will set an example for the younger generation or counterparts and set a mood for future generations. And they could preach and help ISKCON's members, devotees, develop deeper roots, attract new people, share their wisdom, and become mentors. The prime benefit for those devotees who adapt Vanaprastha will be because of their life experiences, they would be very good teachers, mentors, or guide. Plus, either alone or together, they would be excellent gurus to help furthering our Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. Those who have accepted the responsibility of serving as spiritual masters for the generation of devotees after Srila Prabhupada's departure have the duty of making sure their disciples adopt the Vanaprastha, which will help them in their journey to go back home, back to Godhead. The spiritual master's duty is to engage his disciples according to what is favorable for their spiritual advancement. Now we move on to the next slide, that is visual presence of Vanaprastha in our society. In the past, and except for the writings of Jananand Maharaj, there has been little written about the Vanaprastha ashram. Jananand Maharaj published a book on the subject in February 2007. Currently, devotees are giving seminars and courses on and preaching about the Vanaprastha ashram in ISKCON. For example, Her Grace Devki Devi Dasi has established the Institute for Spiritual Culture where courses on Varnashram Dharma and a Vanaprastha ashram are taught. His Holiness Ramapada Swami also recently conducted a seminar at Gita Nagari entitled Exploring Varnashram. Consequently, some devotees have developed a theoretical knowledge of Vanaprastha. Others may even be quietly practicing Vanaprastha in our society, but unfortunately, because there are a few visible examples of devotees practicing Vanaprastha, the Vanaprastha ashram is not an officially established and visible ashrama. Let us speak about the of benefits of the Vanaprastha ashram. Aspiring to the Vanaprastha ashram helps develop the mood of a Goswami or controller of their senses. The preface to the Nectar of Instruction states, first, one must become a perfect Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord. The natural progression of the winding down of family affairs prepares one for uninterrupted meditation on the purpose of life to develop Krishna consciousness free from life's material demands. Vanaprastha is not recommended as a way to boost for one's um, ego, but to facilitate one's focus on self realization, particularly on the exclusive service of the Supreme Lord. To gain that focus involves leaving the service of one's grown family in the hands of those still engaged by age and inclination in family affairs. Going through an official public ceremony is one method to confirm entrance into Vanaprastha ashram and would ease the transition both from the individual entering behavior. It is not any artificial social imposition. Let us speak about the feasibility and mentality behind adopting the Vanaprastha ashrama. The sannyas ashram may be out of reach for many devotees, all women and most men, but adopting the Vanaprastha ashram is much more possible for anyone serious about their spiritual life, especially those who have practiced Krishna consciousness for a number of years. His Holiness Janavan Maharaj writes, those who have been steadily practicing Krishna consciousness in the Grihastha ashram for many years should have an irreplaceable depth of experience, conviction, and realization which is essential for the onward progress through the ashramas and then back to Godhead. No amount of theoretical knowledge and sentiment can compare to that. Let us consider the practical application. Age. Taking Vanaprastha at the age of 51 may not be feasible in this day and age, but at the latest by 65. Economic security. As far as Vanaprasthas are living dependent on householders, the main concern is economic security. Our ISKCON society is not in a position to maintain a Vanaprastha ashram. As an alternative, we suggest that whether there is facility near a temple, the temple should provide housing for retired devotees, similar to retirement or assisted living facilities, so that devotees accepting Vanaprastha can perform devotional service at the temple. If the temple cannot provide accommodations, then Vanaprastha can move to a nearby farm community and perform the service over there. Association with the opposite sex. Those who are not married should avoid associating with the opposite sex by glancing, touching, conversing, joking, or sporting while living in community or serving out of a temple. Detachment of wife and family. According to Vedic principles, when retiring from family life, one can took his family, one can took his wife with him. For the husband and wife are considered to be a unit, and so can perform austerities for liberation together. One should not simply remain at home until the time of death, but should separate from family life at timely moment and prepare himself to go back to Godhead. Vanaprastha means husband and wife will give up sex. The wife is expected to give up any luxuries, remain austere, and only accept the bare necessities of life, and the husband is expected to give up all the luxuries the wife provides. Let us now discuss about the detachment from wife and family. According to Vedic principles, when retiring from family life, one can take his wife with him, for the husband and wife are considered to be a unit, and so on, and so can perform austerities for liberation together. One should not simply remain at home until time of death, but should separate from family life at timely manner and prepare himself to go back to Godhead. Vanaprastha means husband and wife give up sex. The wife is expected to give up only luxuries, remain austere, and only accept the bare necessities of life, and the husband is expected to give up all the luxuries the wife provides. First is the wife's duty. When both husband and wife follow the regulative principles of austerity, they remain silent. That is, they do not speak prajalpa and are not agitated by sex desire. Then both husband and wife will receive spiritual benefit. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who desires to adopt the third order of life, Vanaprastha, should enter the forest with a peaceful mind, leaving his wife and leaving his wife with his mature sons, or else taking her along with him. Nonetheless, the wife is expected to give up all luxurious habits. In this way, both husband and wife can advance in spiritual advancement. In this way, both husband and wife can advance in spiritual consciousness. This advanced stage is called the Paramahansa stage, and once it is obtained, both husband and wife can be actually liberated from bodily consciousness. If the husband takes sannyas, the wife would return to the protection of her eldest son. When the husband takes the renounced order of life, namely sannyas, the wife is to return home and become a saintly woman, setting an example for her children and daughters in law and showing them how to live a life of austerity. One can take Kshetra sannyas if it is feasible. When one takes Kshetra sannyas, he leaves his household and goes back to place of pilgrimage devotee to Lord Vishnu. Such places include Purushottama, Jagannath Puri, Navadvip Dham, and Mathura Dham. The Kshetra sannyas lives in these places alone or with his family. Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur considers Kshetra Sannyas to be the preferable Vanaprastha situation in this age of Kali. Let us now move to the overall theme. So, at the last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death, but one must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it and all desires thereof. We will now move on to formal methods for transitioning into the Vanaprastha ashram ceremony. Currently, there is no Vanaprastha ceremony to mark this transition, but there are two good reasons to create such a ceremony. It will help devotees transitioning into the Vanaprastha ashram consider the importance of their commitment. Also, doing so allows and invites the blessings of the community so that devotees will be successful in their endeavor. A ceremony would make the idea of Vanaprastha visible to all members of society. The ceremony can consist of a fire sacrifice, similar to what we perform for Brahman initiation. There are many fire sacrifices performed in our society to mark some scars, including entrance into the Grihastha ashram and entrance into the sannyas ashram. There could be a similar ecstasy, similar ceremony for initiation into the Vanaprastha ashram. A ceremony would make the idea of Vanaprastha visible to all members of society. The ceremony can consist of a fire sacrifice, similar to what we perform for Brahman initiation. There are many fire sacrifices performed in our society to mark some samskar, including entrance into the Grihastha ashram and entrance into the sannyas ashram. There could be a similar ceremony for initiation into the Vanaprastha ashram. The suggestion for adopting Vanaprastha ashram as an intermediate preparatory step before sannyas. Currently, sannyas candidates have a waiting period of several years, during which the sannyas ministry observes the sadhana and service activities of the candidate and allows him to be engaged in the types of preaching activities he would perform as a sannyasi. During that waiting period, a grihastha applying for sannyas candidacy may accept vanaprastha as an intermediate preparatory state and make himself visible. Taking of sannyas order is in one sense only a formality. After a couple of years as vanaprastha, sannyasi can be considered if one's behavior is ideal. Then, one overall thing, let us talk about the receiving title. According to Gaudiya Sampradaya, tradition vanaprasthas are known as vanacharis or Gauravanachari, just as grihasthas are called adhikari and sannyasi or Goswami. Vanaprastha devotees could receive their title depending on the location of initiation. Those accepting entrance into the ashrama in Vrindavan can be called Vanachari, and those in Mayapur Gaur Vanacharya. Outside these locations, Grihastha, the title can be left up to the initiating spiritual master. Gauravana is Lord Gauranda's forest of Navadvip and is described as the shining golden tilaka covering with the white garments of Ganga's waters, splendid with blossoming champaka flowers. Flowers filled with various rasas and saturated with the sweetest nectar of Krishna Prema, which is forever relished by the beloved son of Sri Jagannath Mishra. It is filled with the unlimited nectar of the sweet name of Radha. Then talking about the dress code, at the time of formal ceremony, along with the required blessings of the spiritual master, appropriate clothing can also be presented. Men can wear yellow dhoti, grahastha style, which symbolizes that one is undergoing a vow or the dress code will create effective impressions on grahastha's minds that grahastha life is not everything and will not remain enjoyable forever because as time goes by the body will have biological effects and become invalid in old age. Therefore, it is advisable to adapt Vanaprastha, which is winding down of the business of Malli. I am not this perishable body. Antavanta ime deha. This material body will die at any time. So I should develop vairagya, vidya, spiritual knowledge in Krishna consciousness. Specific Vanaprastha behaviors and practices, they are found in the following scriptures. Tapas or austerity is especially meant for the retired life. A man retired from household life must practice austerities of the body, mind, and tongue. Similarly, austerity, study of Vedic literature, and philosophical research are meant for the vanaprasthas or retired persons. It is the practice of the yogi, brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasi to bathe at least 3 times daily, early in the morning, during noontime, and in the evening. The Grihastha ashram is a sort of concession combining sense gratification with a regulative life. Those in the renounced order of life, the Vanaprasthas and sannyasis must practice penance and austerities. These are the procedures by which everyone can be elevated to the spiritual platform. Tapasya is meant for the renounced order of life. Those who are retired from worldly activities should perform tapasya, penances, and austerities. When both husband, the Grihastha ashram is a sort of concession combining sense gratification with a regulative life. Those in the renounced order of life, the Vanaprasthas and sannyasis, must practice penance and austerities. These are the procedures by which everyone can be elevated to the spiritual platform. Tapasya is meant for the renounced order of life. Those who are retired from worldly activities should perform tapasya, penances, and austerities. When both husband and wife follow the regulative principles of austerity, they remain silent and are not agitated by sex impulses. At such a time, both husband and wife are benefited spiritually. One can attain this stage of life by completely. Tapasya is meant for the renounced order of life. Those who are retired from worldly activities should perform tapasya, penances on austerities. When both husband and wife follow the regulative principles of austerity, they remain silent and are not agitated by sex impulses. At such a time, both husband and wife are benefited spiritually. One can attain this stage of life by completely giving up a luxurious mode of life. Let us speak about the specific practices. Based on the above and elsewhere in Sri Prabhupada's teachings, specific ideal standard behaviors, the specific practices for Vanaprastha can be summarized as performing austerities related to the tongue, body, and mind, bathing 3 times a day or at least twice a day, cultivating Brahminical qualities such as truthfulness, mildness, sincerity, tolerance, forgiveness, self control, friendship, benevolence, and non violence, avoiding food from unclean places, eating more than required, and eating at night, honoring prasadam prepared by devotees who chant at least 16 rounds a day whenever possible, increasing austerity for self purification, living simply and without wasting time while fixing the mind on devotional service to Lord Krishna, studying scripture, conducting philosophical research, and preaching. Vanaprasthas are usually teachers or mentors or guides. One advantage a Vanaprastha has over someone in the sannyas ashram is that he or she can guide grihasthas through their difficulties with the wisdom of having lived through the ashram themselves. Because of their life experience, Vanaprasthas, either alone or together, would make excellent gurus and help furthering our Gaudiya Vaishnava parampara. Being simple and straightforward and not duplicitous when dealing with oneself and others. Avoiding managerial positions because profit, lava, prestige, pratishtha, and adoration, puja, are natural byproducts of position. Best not to seek such positions out. Pratishtha is called Sukha Vera Vishta, big stool. If one must take management responsibilities, be attached only to serving and not to the position. Avoiding association with the opposite sex, whether by glancing, touching, conversing, joking, or sporting. Sleeping separate from one's spouses and if possible on the floor or in a simple bed. Avoiding engagement in material, social, or family affairs. Controlling the tongue, no more gramya katha and senses. Vacho begam. Don't criticize anything or anyone. As far as possible, try to live apart from the family and practice remaining alone. Sleep only 6 hours a day and rise during the Brahma Muhurta, spending as much time as possible performing quality job, reducing bodily needs, simplify everything. Renunciation is the wealth of the Brahmanas. Serve and whenever possible, travel with the advanced Vaishnavas. At the time of Vanaprastha or Pravesh, following the example of Rupa Goswami, divide your money 50% distributed to qualified and pure devotees of the Lord or for the propagation of the Krishna consciousness movement, 25% given to family members, 25% kept for personal use in case of emergency. Don't store provisions or have a large bank balance. Dedicate as much as possible one's time and efforts in preaching, such as the distribution of Sri Prabhupada's books, Harinam, Prasadam distribution, and home programs. We then speak about our progress in spiritual life leading to Vanaprastha. Jaya Gaurasundara Das, Gauravanachary's Vanaprastha ashram experience. What he says, he took first initiation from SDG Sri Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj in 1982 in Baltimore Temple. A first time ever fire sacrifice for initiation was done in the small temple room. Right after first initiation, he asked his Guru Maharaj, "What do you want me to do now?" His answer was nothing special but be an ideal Grahastha. Then we received second Brahmana initiation in 1983 in Gita Nagari on the auspicious day of Narsimha Chaturdashi. In the year 2014, we went to see our Guru Maharaj on Radha Ashtami. During our conversation, he said he had heard that in August of previous year, he had celebrated his 50th marriage anniversary. He replied that it was last year Guru Maharaj, now it is 51st year of our married life. That magic number 51 somehow made me inquire from him about Vanaprastha initiation in ISKCON. His answer was no, there is no such procedure. Later that year, he heard that H.H. Advait Swami Maharaj was looking for volunteers who would take Vanaprastha ashram to provide more visibility to that ashrama. So at that Harrisburg Rath Yatra festival of 2015, when he met H.H. Advait Swami Maharaj, he volunteered to officially take Vanaprastha. In order to know more about Vanaprastha ashram, he gathered information from Manipedia about what Sri Prabhupada had to say about Vanaprastha ashram. From the gathered information, Sri Prabhupada's following quotes made him think seriously about taking Vanaprastha. One should be very much ashamed of remaining a householder. It is not that a grihastha should live at home until he dies. Tapa or austerity is especially meant for the retired life. One should not remain a householder throughout his whole life with grandchildren. Again, Varnashram culture. Varnashram is a set of rules, prescriptions, and duties that correspond to a particular status of a person, which he himself chooses. Varnashram consists of main and secondary rules. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.